passionate commentary around. From pro to high school, Jalen's got the insight and energy you crave. Catch all the action weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. on the Centex Sports Network, only on YouTube. Join the conversation and elevate your sports knowledge with Centex Primetime. Don't miss it.
Need video or audio solutions? Lighthouse Streaming, a full-scale media agency, can transform any event. Check this out. We're talking live streaming that's crisp and clear, event audio that hits every note, and church video and audio solutions that'll enhance worship. Corporate events, we got those on lock too. From concerts to conferences, Lighthouse Streaming and audio makes your vision shine. Book your appointment now at lighthousestreaming.com or call 254-252-4206 for a free consultation. Let's elevate your event and light up the stage.
Hello, my name is Roy Gillis, founder and CEO of Lighthouse Streaming. Over the last 4 years, we've had some tremendous successes, none of which could have been accomplished without you, our clients, and our viewers. From my family and the staff of Lighthouse Streaming, thank you.
What's up, everybody? My name is Jalen Gillis. You may know me from Centex Sports Network. We're starting a new platform, Recruit 254. Our mission is to highlight the amazing student athletes of 254. So if you're in the Waco, Killeen, Temple, Mart, Marlin, or any surrounding 254 areas, follow this platform and join the movement. Recruit 254. 254, let's run it up.
My name is Debbie Kimbrell. I am the administrative assistant here at Anderson Chapel. I also work as part of the media ministry. It was great working with Lighthouse. Everyone was very professional, came in to do video recording and streaming for a conference that we hosted here on time. They did what they needed to do, was seamless and transparent. It was great. The feedback, everyone was impressed. So it went out, it was a conference level, so a state level event, and everyone was impressed with the product and the result. We got the DVDs too, which people purchased, and they were impressed with those. It was great overall.
This is why you need Centex Primetime. Jalen Gillis brings the realness. Dive into the heart of sports with the most passionate commentary around. From pro to high school, Jalen's got the insight and energy you crave. Catch all the action weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. on the Centex Sports Network, only on YouTube. Join the conversation and elevate your sports knowledge with Centex Primetime. Don't miss it.
Need video or audio solutions? Lighthouse Streaming, a full-scale media agency, can transform any event. Check this out. We're talking live streaming that's crisp and clear, event audio that hits every note, and church video and audio solutions that'll enhance worship. Corporate events, we got those on lock too. From concerts to conferences, Lighthouse Streaming and audio makes your vision shine. Book your appointment now at lighthousestreaming.com or call 254-252-4206 for a free consultation. Let's elevate your event and light up the stage.
What's up, everybody? My name is Jalen Gillis. You may know me from Centex Sports Network. We're starting a new platform, Recruit 254. Our mission is to highlight the amazing student athletes of 254. So if you're in the Waco, Killeen, Temple, Mart, Marlin, or any surrounding 254 areas, follow this platform and join the movement. Recruit 254. 254, let's run it up.
My name is Emily Adams. I'm the marketing director for the Texas Asphalt Pavement Association. We are here at our 3rd annual MAPS conference at the Waco Convention Center in beautiful Waco, Texas. I think the event has exceeded all of our expectations. We had an amazing turnout and great sessions and nothing but positive feedback. So this is our first conference in a convention center, and I'm used to working with hotels where there's like one person to talk to for everything. And so at the last minute, we realized we needed audio and video services. And so I contacted Lighthouse Streaming and Audio, and they were very quick to respond. They were able to, even though it was the last minute, they were able to fit us into their schedule, and they provided us with technicians and equipment to record our sessions, and we'll be able to provide the people who are speaking at those sessions with great video of themselves. I would highly recommend them. I highly recommend Lighthouse Streaming and Audio. I had nothing but a pleasant experience, and if we come back to Waco again, which we hope to do, I know I'll be in touch with them.
My name is Debbie Kimbrell. I am the administrative assistant here at Anderson Chapel. I also work as part of the media ministry. It was great working with Lighthouse. Everyone was very professional, came in to do video recording and streaming for a conference that we hosted here on time. They did what they needed to do, was seamless and transparent. It was great. And feedback, everyone was impressed. So it went out, it was a conference level, so a state level event. And everyone was impressed with the product and the result. We got the DVDs too, which people purchased, and they were impressed with those. It was great overall.
This is why you need Centex Primetime. Jalen Gillis brings the realness. Dive into the heart of sports with the most passionate commentary around. From pro to high school, Jalen's got the insight and energy you crave. Catch all the action weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. on the Centex Sports Network, only on YouTube. Join the conversation and elevate your sports knowledge with Centex Primetime. Don't miss it.
Need video or audio solutions? Lighthouse Streaming, a full-scale media agency, can transform any event. Check this out. We're talking live streaming that's crisp and clear, event audio that hits every note, and church video and audio solutions that'll enhance worship. Corporate events, we got those on lock too. From concerts to conferences, Lighthouse Streaming and Audio makes your vision shine. Book your appointment now at lighthousestreaming.com or call 254-252-4206 for a free consultation. Let's elevate your event and light up the stage.
What's up, everybody? My name is Jalen Gillis. You may know me.
Hello and welcome back into Centex Primetime. I am your host, Jalen Gillis, getting ready to bring you through the primetime topics in sports, not just here in the Central Texas area, but from all around the nation. We want to thank everybody for tuning in with us on this Wednesday afternoon. We've got plenty to talk about here today. NBA Finals could be the very last game tomorrow. That means basketball season will be over and we'll be forced to watch NASCAR for the rest of the summer. Also, we got to talk some more about what's going on in the NFL offseason. We've got some breaking news in multiple sports. We'll talk about that, what's going on in the NFL and what's going on in the NBA. So lots to cover here on Centex Primetime here today. Want to thank everybody for tuning in, whether that is on YouTube, Centex Sports Network / Centex Sports TV over on YouTube. Thank you guys for checking us out there. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. As always, you can also follow me and the show on Instagram at Jalen Gillis. You can follow the show at Centex Primetime on Instagram. As always, make sure you guys go to our website, CentexSportsNetwork.com. That is CentexSportsNetwork.com. Go on there. You'll be able to watch the show. You'll catch all of our action on there. Free subscription. Just need your name and your email. You'll get signed up and get access to all of our content we have available on the website. That is CentexSportsNetwork.com. Well, folks, like I said, plenty to talk about here today. We'll start with some breaking news in just a second. Joining me here on the show today, calling in with us, we've got a familiar voice of the show here, the man that you heard all year long if you listened with us doing La Vega play-by-play, Mr. Cedric Eigerhart in the building with us. Said, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on with it, Jalen?
Hey, nothing much, man. Glad to have you back on here as we got a few different topics we need to dive into here today. Like I said, folks, breaking news in both sports. We're talking about the NBA world and in the NFL as well. We'll start with a little bit of NBA here as breaking news just about an hour ago. The Buss family agrees to sell the Lakers to Mark Walter, who was a minority owner of the Los Angeles Lakers for a few years now. Sells it to Mark Walter for a $10 billion valuation. That is $10 billion with the B dollar valuation. Crazy amount of money for the Lakers as the Buss family gets out of ownership, or majority ownership. They'll say they'll keep just a little bit above 15% stake in the company. When their father, Dr. Jerry Buss, purchased the Los Angeles Lakers from Jack Kent Cook, he bought it for $67 million. Here they are 40, 50 years later and selling this thing for $10 billion. So return on an investment is an understatement. Said, what did you think when you heard this breaking news about the Lakers and selling their franchise?
The first thing that I thought of, honestly, when I heard about how much more money the franchise is valued at today than it was when it was purchased initially, the first thing I thought of was Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones coming in, buying the Cowboys, and I want to say he bought the Dallas Cowboys for something like $45-50 million, something like that. And I remember when he purchased the Cowboys, and I'm not a Cowboy fan, but I live in Waco, Texas, so I'm surrounded by them. But I remember there was a lot of trepidation in Cowboy Nation. Hey, are you going to retain Tom Landry? Like, don't do anything drastic. Like, don't make any drastic changes because we love our team the way it is. This was when they were in the middle of being America's team, right? Yeah. Even though they were about, at this time in the late 90s, they were probably 12, 15 years removed from a Super Bowl. But anyway.
Yeah. See, I knew you had to throw in some shots at the Cowboys, man. Well, I knew what was going on.
I had to give you all the context.
Yeah,
brother.
yeah.
Okay. But this was a franchise that, even though they haven't won nothing in terms of championships, they were able to increase in value tenfold, 20-fold, right? The Cowboys I think the Cowboys was the first professional franchise that was evaluated at being worth over $1 billion, and that was like maybe 10 years ago. Yeah. Right? So the fact that the Lakers are doing this, I don't blame when you say the Buss family, you're really talking about Jeannie Buss.
Yeah, we're talking about Jeannie.
Because she's the one that really took it upon herself to try to carry on a mantle that her father had established in building championship organizations, not just with the Lakers, but also with they had the Nets, that was tennis. They had the Sparks. They had there was another franchise, I can't think of the sport right off the top of my. But anyway, the Los Angeles, the Buss family, Dr. Jerry Buss, was known for. There was a soccer team, Nets. I don't know what they were called. Maybe it was Nets. I don't know. Anyway, but the Buss family, Dr. Buss, took it upon himself to say, listen, if I'm going to do sports franchising, I'm going to do it at the highest level that it can possibly be done. And he tried to put his children, over the different organizations. Not everybody was suited for that. It turns out only Jeannie was the one that had any type of acumen for it. Yep. Because she did bring a couple of titles to the Lakers. Just under her tutelage. And I know when Phil Jackson was there, she and Phil Jackson were a couple for a little bit of a time. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, for the Buss family, because when you read this news notice about the Lakers being sold for $10 billion, it says Buss family. So what that's telling me is Jeannie is tired of carrying the load of having to be the only competent person in the Buss family who is capable of carrying a franchise to any type of championship level.
Yeah, no, definitely. Jeannie Buss, like you said, the only one out of all the children that really had any success at trying to run this franchise since Dr. Buss's passing, I believe in 2013. Has done a great job, has elevated the franchise in that 10-year. They added LeBron James. They added Luka Doncic. They added Anthony Davis. They added an NBA championship. So selling it at its peak point like this, especially for $4 billion more than what we saw the Celtics earlier this year get sold for when the Celtics sold their franchise. for about $6.1 billion. Now here we are some months later. The Lakers now selling their franchise. Mavericks
sold for $3.5 billion.
Yeah,
right?
Mavs sold for just a little bit under $4 billion there. So you're seeing that pecking order in the NBA, and nobody higher on that list than the Los Angeles Lakers for any sporting franchise in America. I mean, it's the Lakers, the Cowboys, the Yankees. Those are your staples as far as your biggest franchises in sports, in American sports for sure. And the Lakers proving that by selling for $10 billion. This Walter Investment Group, Magic Johnson, has been linked to this group multiple different times. I think now he's with the Josh Harris Investment Group as they've bought the Washington Commanders and part owners and the Los Angeles Dodgers and other things like that. But Walter,
let's just look at the business moves that Magic Johnson has made.
Man.
The first lucrative move that he made outside of basketball was the movie theaters, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And they were all over the place at one point in time when people used to go to the movies. We don't do that now with the streaming, but that was the first thing he did. And then, to be in a part of this Dodgers investment team, to be a part of this Commanders investment team. Mm-hmm. Now he's a part of this Lakers investment team, and he was always part of the Laker family. Sure. They always try to find a spot for him. He didn't work out. He was a phenomenal player. Didn't work out as a coach. I thought he was
a decent GM though. In his last couple years when they got LeBron.
Yeah.
I thought he was a decent GM.
Yeah, he did bring LeBron into the fold as a GM, and that was probably the best thing he ever did as a GM. I was under the impression, just to be honest with you,
mm-hmm.
I thought that maybe he had the Michael Jordan curse on him. Great player, terrible executive.
Yeah.
but like I said, he did bring LeBron in as a GM. And that was a generational move. It really was.
Yeah, he had a couple shaky draft picks there. Taking Lonzo over Jason Tatum and stuff like that. But the LeBron thing kind of got him glazed over that part, so he was able to get past.
Yeah, and even Lonzo Ball over Jason Tatum. If you redo that draft again, revisionist history will tell you, well, sure, I'd rather have Jason Tatum. He's played more games, period. But at the time, there was a case to be made there.
No, it was a case to be made.
Lonzo Ball looked like he might have been, dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, he in the times he was healthy, he was. His biggest problem is injury. Yeah. I think basketball has never been his problem. His problem is not being able to stay healthy. I was listening to him talk about his injury. He was saying it took him like 2 years to even figure out what this injury was.
Yeah, LeVar Ball put out a video yesterday saying there was like a TikTok video, but he was saying if the Clippers are serious about winning a championship, get all my boys together on your team, all three of them, and we know Jello hadn't even had a cup of coffee in the league.
Yeah, he's rapping. Let's leave him where he's at. I don't want to sign a rapper.
and he's not my style of rapper, so I don't even like his rap, honestly.
Yeah, no.
But
I don't. LeVar, hey, I get it. You did the unthinkable. You got 2 of your kids in the league, man. Let's just leave it at that. I don't think the Clippers are going to give up the house to get Lonzo and LaMelo on the team, even though I do like both of them as a player. But I don't think that's happening, LeVar.
But actually, if you're just talking about it from a conceptual standpoint, getting off of Melo, you're getting 5 draft picks for Mikal Bridges. You're getting 4 draft picks for Desmond Bane. What could you get for Melo?
Yeah, I'm sure you could get a lot. I'm positive you could get a lot with being able to go out there and get something for Melo. I'm actually sad that LaMelo is stuck on the Hornets right now because I can't tell if he's bad or if it's just the organization is so bad. So hopefully he gets off the – I know he'll want to be on the West Coast somewhere, but Back to the Lakers selling, man, a phenomenal price that we've seen for this team. Never seen anything getting sold like this, any sporting franchise getting sold for a number like this, man. So shout out to the Lakers, shout out to the Buss family. The rich get richer is what I hear from that, because $10 billion is nothing to sneeze at whatsoever for their majority ownership stake in the company. So we'll see, does this have any effects? You kind of alluded to it, talking about the concerns the Cowboys fans have when Jerry Jones bought the franchise. Does this have any effect on the Lakers? Do they decide, hey, maybe it is time for you to retire, LeBron? Do they decide, oh, maybe we don't like Luka, or maybe we need to pair Luka with somebody else? We don't know what comes with it, but in all, as of right now, really good deal for the Mark Walter Investment Group. And if you are a Lakers season ticket holder, you might want to get your tickets early because then prices going up. He just paid $10 billion. He's going to get some of that money back this year. He ain't waiting.
Them prices are definitely going up. Courtside seats, yes, all that stuff just went up by at least 50%. I promise you that.
I promise. He got Mark Walter trying to get some of that money back. $10 billion, a lot of money.
Absolutely.
But shout out to Mark Walter and their investment group for purchasing that. Some more quick breaking news. Well, not breaking news, but this is just kind of one I seen earlier. And you'll be able to comment on this. Said Browns rookie Shedeur Sanders got a citation for driving. He got a speeding ticket, y'all. I'm trying to put it how ESPN labeled this out as Browns rookie gets cited for driving 100 miles an hour. He got a speeding ticket. Now, he was out at 12:30 at night. He's driving 101 miles in a 60. He's in a big old dually truck. You're gonna get pulled over. So let's just leave it at that.
Sure.
If you're in Shedeur's camp, it's time to say, hey, man, this is nothing, but let's lock it in. As you can see, everybody is preying on your downfall. The fact that this was an article being written about somebody getting a speeding ticket, it's probably somebody on every team in the NFL that gets a speeding ticket every single day. Like, what are we talking? What are we talking about? So the fact that you see them doing this lets you know, hey, man, we gotta be on the straight and narrow. We gotta walk a tightrope because they are waiting on your downfall to report anything, good or bad, really, but especially bad for Shedeur Sanders. What do you think about them? I guess turning this into an article with Shedeur getting the little speeding ticket.
Here's what I believe. I believe that once your name is put out there, and people are watching you, right? Like they're literally watching everything you do, looking for a reason to write a bad story about you. That happens. It happens. When you are a person of notoriety, like he is.
Yep.
Okay. And you live in the biggest city in the state of Ohio. So people are always looking at you, and you have to be aware of that. You no longer have, and you can say, hey, you know what? Speeding ticket. Everybody gets speeding ticket. You can say that, but you no longer have the ability to just rely on that because you are a person of notoriety now.
Yes.
Right? So you literally live in a fishbowl, and everything that you do is going to be, it's going to be magnified, to a ignorant degree for the most part.
Yeah.
Because it's you, right? So you have to be aware of that. There's a, I like to call it, there's the other side of the coin of fame where, it's one thing to want to be famous and have all this ability and all this power, to get money, to get wealth and things like that. That's fine. But there's another side of that coin. And the other side of that coin is there's always going to be somebody looking to take you down.
Yeah. Sure.
And he has to be aware of that. He's a young kid. This kid, he could barely buy a beer in a bar. He's a young kid, but that doesn't excuse you, or that doesn't give you a pass from being exposed to the underbelly of fame, because this all this comes with this.
Yeah.
All this comes with that.
The eyeballs come with the fame, and it ain't just the money and
exactly.
the notoriety and all that.
Yeah.
It's all the other things that come with it too. And
Yep.
his pops knows about it. Obviously, he's one of the most famous people ever, so he knows about it.
And listen, you're people might want to blame Dion for this. Listen, anybody who has kids, you have kids.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what age your kids are, you're gonna always see something in your kids to where there's like a rebellion. And they're gonna be like,
sure.
"No, Daddy ain't doing that."
Yeah.
No, regardless of
definitely.
the age, regardless of the age, and that's all the way up until they're grown. So I'm pretty sure Dion has already told him about this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yet and still, he fell prey to it because there's something about human nature to where we just want to be autonomous and we want to be in charge of us at all times. There's just there's an element of us about us, and this is what keeps us rebellious. This is what keeps us in danger of being in trouble. We just want to be in charge of us.
Yeah, Shador, he's got he's the main thing he's battling is like what you said, man. He's young. So at the end of the day, when you're that age, whether you're a millionaire, multimillionaire like Shador, or you're just a regular dude working a job, you're going to pay stupid tax at that age. That just is what it is.
Exactly.
It's just a little bit of stupid tax for Shador.
That's a great term, stupid tax. That's a great term. Absolutely.
You have to pay it at that age. It doesn't matter whether it's millions of dollars or if it's $1. You got to pay it, and you got to go through it. So Shador, I think he'll be fine, man. This is just something for them to talk about. And minicamp is ended, so there's nothing else going on in Cleveland right now. Every state trooper in Cleveland is probably just waiting around with nothing to do. Ain't no football going on. Ain't no basketball going on. So, Shador, just stay out the streets, man, because ain't nobody else got nothing to do. But, I think he'll be fine. I just thought it was kind of funny how they brought this up as a whole article like it was something crazy or like he got arrested and he just got a little bit of a speeding ticket. Want to go over and switch to the NBA Finals a little bit. Said we've been talking about these guys the last couple of weeks, the Pacers and the Thunder. We watched the Thunder take that also important Game 5 that we all know most teams that win Game 5 go on to win the series. Within that Game 5, the best player on the Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton, sustains an injury, a calf strain. And a calf strain is nothing to play with, y'all. We were talking about it yesterday on the show. This is not just like, they said he's got a bruised toe or he's got a little bit of a – you can't really move like that off a strained calf, especially trying to run up and down the court. Well, last time we watched somebody – with the calf strain in the finals, it was a guy named Kevin Durant. In 2019, he tried to play one game, came out there and played for about 6 minutes, tore his Achilles, was out for the next 2 years. So, there's some things to look at with this Tyrese Halliburton injury. First, before we dive into the game, what does this injury mean for the Pacers? And what do you think about, I think today they came out and said Tyrese Halliburton is still pushing very hard to try to play in Game 6. What do you think about this injury, man, what it means for their team in this season?
Okay, if this is a legitimate calf strain injury, Tyrese Halliburton is not going to be able to play in Game 6. If this is what this is, and we haven't seen anything definitively to say this is what that is, but we all these stories hinting about maybe this is what that is. Nobody said anything definitively yet, right? But it does seem like Tyrese Halliburton is going to be hurt going into Game 6. Okay, I'm not using the word injured because nobody said that yet, but it does look like he's going to.
Today they came out and said it's a confirmed calf strain.
Confirmed. So it is injury. Yeah. Okay. So if Halliburton is injured, then he's not going to be available for Game 6. Okay. He's just not. What can you can play if you're hurt, but you can't play if you're injured, right?
Yes, yeah, that's true.
So if Tyrese Halliburton is actually injured, if this is a legitimate calf strain, you won't see Halliburton in Game 6. Now, of course, that hurts the Pacers because what we've seen out of the Pacers the whole postseason. We've seen like a full-blown team effort. And it's not, this guy steps up one night, another guy steps up the next night, a third guy steps up. We've seen explosions from Nembhard and Nesmith, and you know what I'm saying, Siakam. We've seen explosions from different guys. But if you don't have Halliburton is your point guard. Halliburton is the guy that makes the offense go. And the Pacers, when they win, they've been all about controlling the pace, right?
Yeah.
T.J. McConnell is capable. T.J. McConnell is not Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's just not. So you can't maintain that pace if Halliburton's not there. So now you have to do something totally different than what you've been relying on the whole postseason to win your games. I don't know how you're going to do that in a couple of days.
Yeah, it's in just a couple of days turnaround. Like you said, T.J. McConnell, probably the best backup point guard in the league. Still
could be. Yeah.
He's not Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, at the end of the day, Tyrese Halliburton is the engine that makes all of this go. We've seen that in the games that he's getting the 20-point near triple doubles. They're whooping people. And then we see in the games like last game when he goes out there and gets 6 points or 4 points that they look like a completely different team. I think they'll try to be competitive in this game 6, but like you said, this is an injury. This isn't just him going out there and being hurt. A calf strain is an injury. If he even can play, they're saying right now he's doing everything he can to play. I don't see how anybody can play if you just sustained a calf strain 2 days ago. I don't see how anybody can play in a basketball game.
If there's any way that Tyrese Halliburton can play, it's going to be in that Willis Reed form of an appearance, the way he comes out, at the end of the game, in the fourth quarter, here comes Halliburton hobbling onto the court, No, this is a real injury. It really is. It's a real injury, and it's very devastating to the Pacers just because of the fact that these guys, every time that they've won, any time in the postseason, it's been a total team effort. And now you're one man down. And T.J. McConnell, as capable as he is, he's a capable point guard. Like you say, he may be the best backup point guard in the league. But he's not Tyrese Halliburton.
No, it's just too much of a hill to climb at this point. I don't see any. They're saying, he's a competitor. He's going to do everything. Is that going to help or hurt the team? Because it looked like in Game 5, he was hurting the team, honestly. T.J. McConnell was having a great game, and Rick Carlisle kind of forced Halliburton back into playing, and Halliburton had little to no effect whatsoever. So if you're going to come out there and be a liability, let's keep him off the court.
And that's the whole thing, Jalen. You can't put too much on McConnell's plate. Listen, we know you're not Halliburton, so we're not expecting you to be him. We're not expecting you to do the things that he does for us on a regular basis, but we are expecting you to do a little bit more than we normally ask you to do. But there's a line there that needs to be drawn. Don't cross that line, right? Don't ask McConnell to do more. Don't ask him to take too many shots. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. The guys that need to step up, Siakam for one. We need to see that Siakam that got the Eastern Conference
Miles Turner.
Eastern Conference Finals of the year. We need to see that. You brought up another name, Miles Turner. At some point, I forget Miles Turner is on this team. I know he's the longest 10-year Pacer and all that, but how many games in a row can you just go out there and get 9 points, 10 points, 11 points? They're going to need a total group effort. Matherin, that 27 points we've seen in game 3, we need that seed Matherin shooting the ball.
I'm not going to say Matherin. We know Matherin is capable because we've seen him do it at least once in this postseason. But I'm not gonna put it so much on Matherin. I'm gonna put it on Nembhard.
Yeah, for sure. You're a starter, and at this point, you're the lead guard.
You start.
You're the lead guard now that Halliburton is down. The ball is going to be in your hands majority of the game. We've seen him have moments where he steps up and he can give him that 20, that 25, that 30 points. This is all or nothing. This Game 6 of the finals. You might as well go out there swinging. What I don't want them to do is go out there and be tentative and passive because everybody doesn't know what to do. Man, you might as well let it fly. It's the last game.
And then you're going to need another 6 Man of the Year performance out of Obi Toppin.
Yes, Obi's had those on and off games where he's giving you 20 points, where he's giving you 8 or 9 rebounds. Yeah, it's got to be a total. That's why I think Halliburton's just got to sit this one out. If you go out there, I think the only thing you can do at this point is interrupt the flow. You're not even going to be able to get up and down the court quickly.
I've listened to all the talking heads this morning on ESPN, and they were like, well, you can't get to a game 7 unless you get through a game 6. But I'm on the other side of this. I'm like, listen, why, if you can only give me a couple of minutes in a game 6 and you're still going to be out for a game 7, I'd rather you just sit the game 6. And we need to figure out a way to get to a game 7 without you, which really, honestly, it shouldn't be that difficult to do because, once again, we're not talking about Kobe Bryant missing a game. We're not talking about LeBron James, Kevin Durant missing a game. We're not talking about a guy that's going to come out here and just light it up every night. Exactly. We're not talking about SGA missing a game. We're talking about Halliburton. And what she's been known for more than anything in the postseason, timely shooting, just timely shooting. He ain't even averaging 20. You know what I mean?
He's not even a scorer like that. Yeah, I get your point. This should be, if you're the Pacers, you should go into this still thinking we have a chance to win this game. Y'all have won multiple games, even in the game that he hit the game winner. He only had like 18 points. Y'all should be able to find somebody to replace 18 points between the 5 or 6 guys we just named a second ago. Y'all can replace those points.
And don't be surprised, because you brought this guy's name up earlier. Don't be surprised if Benedict McThurin comes out and hits 20.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked about
it. This is an occasion for one of these bench guys to just step up and just go ham. We've seen it already in this postseason, have we not?
Yeah, we have. We've seen it multiple times in this finals, throughout this postseason. This is the time, like you said, if you're one of those guys, hey, I want to make a name for myself. I want to have that playoff moment, that moment. And if you're a Siakam, you're the leader of this team, man. Nothing under 30. You're playing at home too.
Nothing under 30.
Nothing under 30. Anything under 30 gets you an L.
Yeah. Siakam should be, and I can't think of any reason why he wouldn't be, but Siakam needs to be in full-blown attack mode. He understands, I am the guy. Like, I'm the guy that puts the ball in the bucket for this team. That's his role. That's his role. And this is why I say, so if you can get Siakam in full-blown attack mode, and Siakam's 30 can match SGA's 30, now you have now the question is, okay, well, what is Miles Turner doing? What is Mathurin doing? What is Nesmith doing? What is Nebhart doing? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So now you have to have these secondary guys who primarily play secondary roles. Now you have to have at least one of them step into a primary role, because you don't have Halliburton available to you.
Yeah, definitely. You have to. One of those guys has to be the one to step up in that role for the Pacers. Like we both said, they've got multiple guys that can do this. Will they be able to do it is the question. Honestly, and we won't be able to know that until they go out there and play tomorrow at 7:30. Looking at the OKC side, you texted me earlier with a stat about SGA, and this entire finals, I've kind of had to think about them differently as a duo, and that's SGA and Jalen Williams. We've seen them as SGA is this great player, and Jalen Williams is a good role player. But the way that these two guys have played in this finals run, we have to start thinking of this as a real star duo, as a star duo between two stars, especially the way that Jalen Williams has played the last 3 games. He joins a short list of players to score 25-plus points in 3 straight finals games. Not many players have done that. I think it was under the age of 25. Only like James Worthy, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. Small list of players. Shaquille O'Neal was able to score 3 straight games with 25-plus under the age of 25. Jalen Williams within that number now. Had a 40-point game in their last game. SGA, you just look up and he has 30. That game didn't seem like a 30-point SGA game, But then I look up at the end of the night at the box score, he's got 31 points and he's got 10 assists. So he's responsible for 40 to 50 points throughout the night. Talk a little bit about this duo in SGA and Jalen Williams and how we have to view them now after the way that they've performed in this finals.
I think after what happened last year, with OKC, and we saw them, kind of toe the line, like they got their toe on the line, but they just weren't able to cross the line to be able to participate in any type of championship basketball. But I think and this is my problem, and maybe it's just me, but this is my problem. I'm still viewing OKC through the lens of maybe still might be a little bit too young, but while I'm viewing them through that lens, through that dynamic, what I'm missing is the fact that these guys they got some young guys putting up historic performances.
Yes.
Like literally historic performances. And I'm like, well, maybe I'm not valuing what I'm looking at the way I should be. Because when you got SGA putting up numbers that puts him in the category or the company of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal. Whoa, this is all time historic stuff.
Exactly.
Exactly. So maybe we're not treasuring what we're seeing OKC do at this young age. Between SGA and J-Dub and even Chet Holmgren. These guys are playing at an extremely high level. You can't play at a higher level than they're currently playing on, right? Yeah. Maybe just because of the fact that we think that they're just so young, maybe we're not treasuring the quality of basketball that they're playing right now, because these guys are really playing basketball at an all-time high level. They really are.
No, they are. They're playing it, and like you said, I'm just like you, so it's not just you said. I feel like this whole playoff run, I'm still holding OKC to a certain type of standard of, they're good, but, is this all-time good? Are they great? But, maybe this championship is not the same. We look at a 2011 Dallas Maverick championship or something like that, or a Golden State Warriors But at the end of the day, these guys are I believe they're going to win. So these guys are going to be champs, and the numbers are going to speak for themselves. If SGA goes through this averaging 30 points, leads the league in scoring, then wins finals MVP and league MVP, it's just him, Michael Jordan, and Wilt Chamberlain. I think are the only guys that have done it.
That's only MJ and Wilt. I understand what you're saying there.
Yeah.
Okay. But because when you watch, I'm just speaking of me personally. When I watch SGA play, I don't feel like I'm watching an MJ or a Wilt.
Yeah.
But the numbers bear it out.
The numbers speak for themselves, and I think that's more what it is. I'm like you, that it's not the same look. I don't have that same feeling that I get of watching Kobe when he's on the block of, oh man, somebody's in trouble. Right. This is over with. Somebody's about to get scored on. But the numbers are going to speak for themselves at the end of the day, and the numbers that SGA is going to put up through this year are going to be historic.
Yeah, I get more excited watching Ja Morant play than watching SGA play. But SGA's numbers,
I can agree with that.
They're there.
I can agree with that.
SGA's numbers are right there with everybody else, all the other historical greats, the Magics. His numbers are right there. Now, you don't, like I say, I don't necessarily get the feeling that when I watch him play, because there's he has a lot of Jimmy Butler in his game. This free throw merchant type stuff.
Yeah.
And that's not extremely exciting. You're just trying to. I already know you're just trying to get to the line. You have to call. You go to the line. You shoot two.
Man, they gave him a free
and you-
throw off a jump ball. I think that was my first time seeing that.
Yeah.
They did a jump ball, and they called a foul, and he got a free throw.
off a jump ball. Yeah. Okay. So you were clearly the league's #1 free throw merchant.
Yeah, for sure.
And that might be why when you watch him play, you don't just get excited about watching him do something with the ball in his hand. It's not like when Iverson had the ball in his hand. It's not like when Kobe had the ball in his hand. It's not like when Shaq had the ball in his hand. Like, we finna see something. We finna see something. Not like when Barkley had the ball in his hand. You see what I'm saying?
I agree.
But when it's all said and done, at the end of the night, the numbers are there.
No, the numbers are going to be there.
And
if they win the championship, it's still going to solidify. I think my biggest thing for them, and you might agree with this, is I felt like this year, even with them beating the Pacers, that they didn't slay the Giant. I feel like a lot of the times we had to see the guys get past that juggernaut, whoever that Giant is, for them to be able to win. We watched Steph win his first one, getting past the LeBron. You know what I'm saying? We watched guys be able to take out that guy or that team. With this Thunder team, I didn't necessarily see them beat a team that I'm like, man, they don't have a chance beating these guys, or not have a chance. But these are the guys, and you took them out. I guess you could say that kind of with Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets, but I wasn't a huge fan of the Nuggets this year. I didn't think the Nuggets really had that great. It's not the 23 Nuggets. This is the 25 Nuggets, so it's a little bit different.
Well, I understand what you're saying, because what you're saying is, even if this OKC Thunder team wins Game 5 and wins Game 6 rather, and wins a title, there's something about it that you think that they're still not the best team in the league this year. I can understand that. But what happens is, when you get into the postseason, these things work themselves out. Got
to win 16 games. Ain't no fluke in the NBA as far as championship. We got to win 16 games.
We didn't have to face the Nuggets. We didn't have to face the Lakers. We didn't have to face Golden State. You know what I'm saying? So it's just these things have a way of working themselves out. The postseason is what the postseason is. All you can do as a franchise, as a team, is make sure that you qualify for the postseason, and then just run the gauntlet from there.
Yeah,
that's all that you have control of.
That's it.
I talk to people on a regular basis that still have a problem with the Lakers bubble title.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that was in a bubble. Hey, it just was what it was.
Yeah. Somebody had to win it.
Somebody had to win it. Yeah. So there's always going to be people who have issues with teams who win titles, because they're like, well, listen, you could very well go and look at Indiana and be like, well, they didn't face a healthy Cleveland team. Donovan Mitchell was dinged up. They didn't face a healthy Cleveland team. Knicks got past a team without Tatum. You know what I'm saying? You could say that every year.
Every single year.
Every year.
Yeah, and that's my reason why I tend to stray away from trying to discredit champions, because every single year you can point out the one thing, and after a couple of years, somebody's going to forget it anyway. People just say Steph Curry has 4 rings. They don't say, well, the first one, Kyrie was hurt and Kevin Love was. Does he have a ring or does he not have? Andre Iguodala's got a Finals MVP.
Exactly.
He's not giving it back saying somebody got hurt, because somebody gets hurt every single year. So the Oklahoma City, even though it might not look the same way that maybe I, myself or others would be like, oh, this is the most dominant team, at the end of the day, they're going to win a championship. They're going to have a guy that won the MVP, that was leading the league in scoring, and that won 68 games. So
absolutely.
The resume is going to be able to speak for itself, man. So tomorrow night, I think, like you, man, I think it's about stick a fork in it, man. The Pacers, I think they can give a valiant effort. Do I think they have a chance in the game? Absolutely. I'm not saying that, there's no chance for them, they're going to get blown out. I think they have a very good chance. But I still got the Thunder closing this thing out in 6. They'll have to celebrate in Indiana. Not sure what the nearest flyover city is from Indiana to go party in, but maybe they'll book out a hotel lobby or something and they can have a party.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what's going on in Indianapolis.
Maybe it's Omaha or something. I don't know. But listen, I disagree with you. I think tomorrow's a blowout. I really do. I think it's a blowout. I think it's over and done.
I can't debate that.
Yeah.
Debate that.
And because there's only one. The reason why I'm saying it's going to be a blowout is because there's only one scenario that I can envision to where it won't be a blowout, and that's if you have all these bench players for Indiana, guys who don't get a lot of run, all these bench players stepping up and knocking down shots. Now, can they do that? Yeah, if they're open shots, sure, they can. They're capable. We've seen that.
Yeah.
Different guys showing up at different times, putting up 25 points in the game. Nobody's averaging that.
Yeah, exactly. For a reason.
Outside of Siakam, nobody's averaging that. But can they do that? Yeah, they can do that. But without your, on the road, without your, I'm sorry, not on the road,
without your star guy, that's a tall task, man.
In an elimination game, without your best player, you're asking a lot. You're asking a lot out of your bench. Now, if they do it, well, that's just going to solidify the fact that Rick Carlisle is going to make a bunch of money coaching the New York Knicks next season.
If they find a way to do that, one, you're going to look like Nostradamus. Two, that'll be the best move they can make because I talked about it on Monday with Wayne. The Knicks have absolutely no idea what they're doing, and they're proving it over and over and over again. They have no idea what they're doing. James Dolan took his hands off the franchise for a couple of years. They got some expectations. He went right back to being James Dolan. Well, let's fire a coach and get somebody better with no coaching candidates out there available.
All this talk about guys like Mike Brown. You don't want. You're not going to bring Mike Brown in.
And that's a lateral move. What does that do? Are they going to do something better than what Tom Thibodeau did with the Knicks? They got to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay, here's the problem with the Knicks. This is their main problem. Okay. And I'm gonna tell you what the number one thing that's wrong with the Knicks. They gave up too much for Mikal Bridges. All of these draft picks for Mikal Bridges, and then now we see with the Desmond Bane trade, 4 number ones and a first round swap for Desmond Bane. Okay, so we see what market value is for these guys who are, I'm not gonna say bad players, on the cusp of being a superstar, on the cusp.
Yeah.
On the cusp. Siakam, 4 number ones. Okay, so this is what it costs for me to get a Desmond Bane, 4 number ones. I got to be sold in the fact that I don't want to draft no more.
Yeah.
Like, give me 3 years with no picks. I'm cool.
With the same team.
I'm cool. I'm your same team. I'm just going to just sign this core, and we're going to be all right, and I think we can do with this. And with Orlando, and I'm an Orlando Magic fan, so I kind of tend to side on the I'm one of these guys, when you talk about the Orlando Magic prospects, I kind of side on the, on the margin of error. But bringing Desmond Bane in with Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, Jalen Suggs, and I'm going to even say Mo Wagner, that's a nice little core.
Absolutely.
Especially in the East.
Absolutely.
The East, right?
And the biggest point of that being in the East. I mean, I'm a guy that I've seen people go back and forth and they gave up too much for Desmond Bane. Hey, man, it is what it is at this point. The 4 first-round draft picks, like I said on Monday, the NBA does not value draft picks the same way the NFL does. You wouldn't see prime Tom Brady get traded for 4 first-round draft picks because it just doesn't work like that. But
No.
If you're going to be picking 25, 26 anyway, you're probably thinking, okay, cool, we can get off of these draft picks. Desmond Bain is a better player than what a lot of people think. I know he's been the third option. Everybody loves Ja. Everybody loves Jaren Jackson.
He's a great catch. He's a great catch and shoot 3-pointer.
Yeah.
A shooter. Catch and shoot 3-pointer. Desmond Bain he's right up there with the elite. He really is.
He is. He's one of the only guys to shoot over 40 for his career almost. And the Magic were an historically terrible three-point shooting team last year. I think the only team that shot worse than them or had the same percentage as them is the 2016 Lakers, who won 15, 20 games. So, they were a terrible three-point shooting team. Getting Desmond Bain adds a lot, and just giving them a score outside of Paolo Banchero.
And I know a lot of people haven't watched a lot of Orlando Magic basketball because they're not on,
TV.
ESPN a lot. Okay, but as a fan, I can tell you this: what the Orlando Magic excel at, okay, is drive and kick. They get into lanes. They can get into the lanes, and you can step up and defend to where they you can contest the shot. But by you stepping up, what you've done is you've left somebody open on the perimeter. The Magic excel at that. But the problem is their catch and shoot guys suck. Cole Anthony was horrible.
Exactly.
KCP was horrible.
Move
off of him. Franz Wagner was probably their best catch and shoot guy.
But he's not a catch and shoot guy.
Yeah, this guy is 6'10".
Yeah, he's 6'10".
We need you in the paint, bro.
Yeah.
We need you in the paint. We don't want you on the perimeter trying to shoot threes. No, this is not no, it ain't that kind of party. So by acquiring a guy like Desmond Bain, this is a guy who can just literally on offense just hang around the perimeter.
And a guy that can get his own shot outside of Paolo. I think that was the biggest part. I'm like you. I watched a lot of Orlando games last year because I like Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
I think Paolo Banchero is one of the best young players in the league. Probably he is in my opinion the most slept on young star in the league. I think he's just as good as Cade and Anthony Edwards and all those guys. I think he's just as good. He's just playing in a small market in Orlando.
I think he's better than Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, man. I said it earlier in the year on this show that I got Paolo. They were having the top players under 25. It was like Victor Wembanyama, Anthony Edwards. I was like, I'll put Paolo at number one. I think he's already more polished. What Wemby can become is so enormous. So everybody obviously is going to put him up there. But we're talking about product right now. Paolo's right there as the best guy under 25 years old. Franz Wagner had a breakout year last year. They're a great defensive team. He's a great defender as well, but he can also play make. What they were missing was a guy that, hey, we just need 6 points. We just need somebody that can go score some buckets real quick. Desmond Bain can do that. Grizzlies are another team. When they do watch them, everybody's paying attention to Ja. Go look at a lot of those playoff performances. It's Desmond Bain getting to 25. It's Desmond Bain getting to 30. Desmond Bain can score the basketball. I think they got him.
I was extremely surprised about the trade because I was like, why would Memphis move off of a guy like Desmond Bain? Because Desmond Bain, and just my opinion, based upon what I've seen, out of the 5 years that Desmond Bain has been in the league, playing for Memphis each year, I would move off of Ja Morant before I would move off of Desmond Bain, because Desmond Bain is just he's a guy that anchors your offense. Like he's so basic, right? In what he does.
That's really what it is.
He's very basic in what he does. The fundamentals are there. Ja Morant, he's dynamic. He's gonna make jaw-dropping plays,
sure.
But he's also gonna shoot at your teenage son. So, so it's just okay. So if I have to make a choice, I'm moving off of Ja, because if you can get 4 number ones for Desmond Bain, what can you get for Ja?
Yeah, now I said it when the Grizzlies season was over. I would consider trading Ja Morant. You're going to get the highest value for him. And Ja, as great as he is, and everybody's he's young and all this. Okay, he is young. You know what we're going to get from Ja. I don't see Ja as that guy taking somebody over the edge for a championship piece. I don't see any of the three main guys as a number one to take you over the edge. But you have a better chance of building around those other guys.
You could send Ja to the Lakers, and the Lakers not have to move off of anybody significant in terms of who's already getting run. You could just add Ja to that roster, and the Lakers are still not a favorite to win the title.
No, they still wouldn't be a favorite.
He's just not that significant of a player. Now, is he a great player? Of course he is.
For sure.
The athleticism, the creativity, but in terms of winning,
that's not even a knock to him. That's just the truth about certain players in the NBA. Another guy you can compare that's like that is Kyrie Irving. I never thought Kyrie Irving was a number one on the championship team. He thought he was. He tried to go to Boston and prove it, and it showed. He's not a number one on the champion. He's a great player, an amazing player.
But look at the list of players that we can put on this list. Is Ja? Is Kyrie? Is Zion?
Yeah.
Sure. It's Anthony Davis.
Yes, Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid.
You know what I mean? I want to say, like as it stands right now, Anthony Edwards is on that list.
Yeah, if we're going off of right now, he hasn't done anything.
Right now,
he hasn't done anything that made me think otherwise.
Joel Embiid, Giannis. I mean, a lot of great players are on that list. Like all-time great players are on that list. I won't put Jokic on that list.
No, I mean for sure. I'm not gonna say Jokic or KD or Giannis or any of those guys. Those guys can prove that they can be a number one. But certain guys, I mean, just frame alone. Ja's a little guy.
I won't put Steph on that list.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Steph has proven exactly what he can do. Yeah. So, that's not a knock even saying that with Ja. So I think the Bane thing is kind of a crossroads for this Grizzlies team now. Of hey, do we go ahead and pack this thing in and decide if we're going to move back to Vancouver and get off some of these assets, or do we want to try to remain competitive? The Desmond Bane trade just makes it more questionable to me. I don't know.
They've already said, and I don't know if you believe this or not, and you can tell me what you believe. Mm-hmm. They've already said we are going to retain Ja. We are going to re-sign Jaren Jackson. We're going to re-sign these guys, and we're going to use these 4 first-round draft picks to rebuild around these guys. That sounds like a project to me.
Yeah, exactly. How long do these guys want to wait? How long does Ja Morant want to be sorry? How long does Jaren Jackson Jr. want to be sorry? Those are the questions you have to ask. If they're cool with being, hey, guys, the next 3 or 4 years, we might make the playoffs, but we might not do anything besides that. If they're cool with that, then this works. But historically in the NBA, most stars aren't cool with that. Not playing in a small market. Yeah. Now, if you were playing on the Knicks or the Lakers, sure, okay, we'll be sorry for the next 3-4 years. I'm going to make the money off the court anyway. In Memphis, no. I'm not just going to be cool with using my prime of my career as your project to rebuild a team. So
if you're going to hang around Memphis for the next couple of years, okay, and then maybe, with the intention of signing a Supermax deal at the end of your contract, this is what Ja Morant is, 2 years on his deal, fine. Jaren Jackson 1 year on his deal, that's fine. If you content to hanging around Memphis and let them build around you, that's like a 3-year project, ain't it?
In a team like Memphis, yes, I believe so. Yeah. To have a real chance of trying to win, and I think they have some nice pieces to go along with Ja and Jaren Jackson. But some teams just aren't championship teams. It just is what it is. Can they be a good team? Yes. And this is honestly kind of how I view the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think the Cavs are a good team, and I think the Cavs might have peaked out at 64 wins. I think that just might be what we get out of this Cavs iteration of this Cavs team. Now, what helps them is they're in the East. So in the East, things are different. We can see you come out of the East just like the Pacers came out the East this year. Just like we've seen the Heat. They had a couple years where I really didn't see the Heat as a championship team, but they got to the finals because they were in the East.
Came out. Yeah.
So I see Cleveland being like that, but every team is not going to win the chip, man. Only one team is going to win it every year, and every 2 or 3 years is going to be a big market team. So if you're Memphis,
I was just about to say, in regards to Cleveland, if you're Cleveland, you really can just run it back because it's the East.
It's the East. The East is not going to have Jason Tatum next year, and then the best player in the East is Giannis. But his team's going to be horrible next year.
But that team sucks. Yeah, that team sucks.
That team's going to be terrible. Yeah, so everybody in the East feel like they got a chance right now.
Yeah, it's the East. It's the East. Hell, Miami might come out of the East next year.
Yeah, you don't. I didn't pick Indiana to come out the East this year, so it ain't like I can pick definitively who's coming out.
Orlando might win the East next year.
They might. They might. That was my point for the people saying, "Oh, Desmond Bain moved. This doesn't put you over the hump."
But no. You said it right, bro. It's the East. It's the East. But if you're Memphis, you need to have a better plan.
Yeah. The West is a different
because okay, I think they were number 4 this year when it all hashed out. They finished number 4.
Yeah.
But you were non-competitive in the playoffs. So that just shows you that even though you were number 4, you really finished in the bottom 4 of teams in terms of talent.
Well, I think they fell out. They ended up being the 8th seed. But at one point, like 2 weeks before the season was over, they were the 3 seed. And they fell.
Yeah.
They lost all their remaining games pretty much and fell all the way down to the 8th seed.
You're correct. You're correct. Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, they barely missed the play-in. You're correct.
Yeah.
You're correct. Okay. So that tells you your core is not good. Okay, so you already traded Desmond Bain. That's fine. Okay, so what you need? Okay, and I'm not a Memphis Grizzly fan at all. But if I were, the fact that you traded Desmond Bain for all this draft capital, what it says to me, and you tell me if I'm wrong. What it says to me is now I'm supposed to do like OKC and trust the process and wait 3 years?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's saying to me.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, Ja's not SGA. The only reason this worked with Oklahoma City because SGA turned himself into one of the best players in the NBA. So unless Ja's going to go win an MVP, then you'll never turn into the Thunder anyway. You'll just be a team similar to the Thunder with a lot of picks, a lot of young talent.
Yep.
But it took SGA to get them over the hump. So, it's interesting to see what this Grizzlies team is going to do. I'm sure we'll have more time in the summer to talk about which direction they're going to try to go. But the dominoes are going to fall, though, now with this Desmond Bain trade being in place.
The one X factor that is in place that could accelerate things for Memphis is Zach Edey.
Yeah. If Edey can turn into a real guy, then that'll go faster.
If he can be anything other than a Jag, then that's gonna escalate things. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But he can only do that on the defensive end because he's not a fill the bucket type guy.
No. He's not even that type of player.
Yeah.
Defensively, he can become a monster defensively, similar to a Rudy Gobert with a slightly better offensive game. Okay. That could change some things up.
There you go.
But if he doesn't do that, then, I don't see much from this Grizzlies team. So, folks, we'll keep an eye on that as, like I said, the Grizzlies trade their third option, star player Desmond Bain, as he's off to Orlando. We got a few minutes left here. I want to go through some quick takes here on the show today. As we know, everybody, Juneteenth is tomorrow. All you guys are going to be off work. So I know that y'all recognize now that Juneteenth is a holiday, whether you decide to celebrate it or not. In the spirit of Juneteenth, though, I want to do a little bit of action here with the NFL, talking about who are our favorite, our top 5, our best, however you want to put it, all-time black quarterbacks. This is an interesting one. And since we're doing this, like I said, Juneteenth going in tomorrow, a long list of players that you can choose from in this list to be able to come out and make this list. I went back and forth on a few guys when I was doing my list, so I'll say some of the guys I named off, and then I'll let Ced give some of the guys that he likes on this list. Honorable mention, I got to throw in a somewhat Waco native and Robert Griffin in. This is not as much for his NFL career, but for his college career, man, dude still won a Heisman. And like I said, he's a guy with Central Texas connections, coming out of Carpus Cove and then doing what he did at Baylor, being able to win the Heisman. But at number 5, man, at 5, I got to put in on this list Randall Cunningham. Now, Sed will be able to tell you a little bit more about this than myself. I did not get a chance to watch Randall Cunningham play live, but I've loved watching his highlights my entire career, man. Randall Cunningham, one of the better quarterbacks in NFL history. He got over 29,000 passing yards and almost 5,000 rushing yards. It's not many people with any type of stats close to that. So I'll throw Randall Cunningham in at number 5. At number 4, the first black quarterback to ever win the go ahead, Seth.
And hold on. Before you go to 4, let me just make a comment about Randall Cunningham.
Yes, sir.
I want people to understand that Randall Cunningham was the first black quarterback who had full license to play the position as an athlete. And what I mean by that is, hey, if you got to run, you run.
Yes.
It's okay. Go ahead and run. He was the first black quarterback to have full license to play the position as an athlete. And this is like the late 90s. I hate the fact that Randall Cunningham never had a chance to play for a Super Bowl, because he was definitely worthy of it as an athlete.
Absolutely.
Okay,
dynamic athlete. No, that's a great point to bring up, because before then, the other guy I'm gonna bring up at number 4, he didn't have a chance to play that kind of way, and that's Doug Williams, the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl MVP. Man, paved the way for black quarterbacks. His story is a great one. If you haven't got a chance to watch it, go on YouTube and just look up some of the stories of Doug Williams. Man, absolutely great player, coming out of an HBCU too. At that, great, phenomenal player. Like I said, the first black quarterback to win an NFL championship. So he's got to be on the list wherever we put him. Doug Williams got to be on the list somewhere within there.
Yeah, and not only was he the first black quarterback to start in a Super Bowl, but he was nearly perfect in that game. I think he was like, I got the stats right here. He was 18 of 29 for 340 yards and 4 touchdowns. They blew out the Denver Broncos 42-10. Blowout.
And that is the John Elway Broncos. Am I correct on that?
John Elway Broncos. Absolutely.
Absolutely. The Broncos were a great team. Even at that time, I know they won their championship
John Elway,
in the last part of the 90s.
Mecklenburg. Yeah.
Doug Williams blew them out.
That Broncos team had Hall of Famers on it.
Absolutely it did. They were the favorite going into that, and Doug Williams was able to not only pull off a win, but blow them out in the fashion of doing that. At my number 3 spot, now I'm going to start getting into my era, the guys I can put my eyes on and I can make my own judgments, man. Number 3 spot coming in. I got that boy, the Madden cover, man, Michael Vick. Michael Vick, the most electric player I've probably ever seen with a football in his hands. One of the first athletes that was truly my favorite player, a guy that I genuinely wanted to watch every game he ever played. That was Michael Vick. Everybody remembers the Madden 04 cover. He's the most unstoppable player in Madden history, probably, is Michael Vick on that 04 game. It didn't matter what you did with him. It was an automatic score every single time. 4-time Pro Bowler, man. Came back, does not get enough credit for what he was able to do after coming out of prison, after he got to go to prison in the prime of his career. Doesn't get enough credit for what he was able to do on that Philadelphia Eagles team. Said, I know you know about that.
Listen, one of my favorite all-time Eagles quarterbacks. Just happy that fact that we had him in the fold for a few years. But Michael Vick was Allen Iverson in football cleats. He was just so athletic, so spectacular. He was the first black quarterback to ever be selected first overall in the NFL draft. That was 2001. Okay. He's the all-time rushing quarterback of all time. He's the only player in NFL history to sign 2 $100 million contracts.
2 of them.
2 of them.
Yeah. And one of the first $100 million quarterbacks in the league. One of the first.
Yes.
When he got that first one with Atlanta.
Michael Vick was so special as a athlete. You know, it's like when you talk about when you start re-yelling stories of Michael Vick, it's just like now you're talking about stuff like Bo Jackson. You know what I mean? Like they're like a human being should not be able to accomplish the things that this person accomplished.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's just crazy.
He looked like a video game
right?
out there on the field in real life, man. I mean,
Video
Michael Vick
game.
was
Yeah.
one of the first. What he was able to do it, man. He got Virginia Tech to a national championship. Like, come on, y'all. Like, when did we last time we watched Virginia Tech do anything? So this dude has been great from high school to college and the pros.
And if I'm correct, the field house is still named after him.
Yes, as it should be. The field should be named after him, but we'll let it the field house be. It should be the whole thing. It should be Michael Vick campus at this point for what he was able to do with Virginia Tech. Coming in at number 2 spot, man, this is probably one of my, if not my favorite player to lace up the cleats, man, in the NFL, and that's Cam Newton coming in at number 2. Now, I know a lot of people would say, oh, well, Cam Newton, he didn't win the big one or he got to the Super Bowl. I need y'all to go back and look at those guys that was on that Super Bowl team that Cam Newton took to the Super Bowl. Ted Ginn was his number 1 receiver, y'all. Like, come on, man. A 36-year-old Jericho Cotchery was his number 2 receiver. Like, let's give him some credit for what he was able to do. Cam Newton from college, he won a title with since I've been watching, won a title with the absolute worst title team I've ever seen since I've been watching college football. Yeah. Nobody on that Auburn team outside of Nick Fairley, who was a D tackle, made it to the league. Yeah. So it was a phenomenal thing what he was able to do. 2015 MVP. What you think about the number 2 spot going to Cam?
You having Cam Newton this high? I don't. We can maybe debate the positioning, but having him on the top 5 list, absolutely. Cam Newton. When Carolina went to the Super Bowl, they were 15-1, and they played in Super Bowl 50 against a washed-up Peyton Manning. But the offensive line was so terrible that they couldn't protect Cam Newton. Yes. Cam got hit so many times in that game, and even at 6'5", 250, man, you can only take so much. But anyway, even though he never got the ring, he's one of a handful of people to ever win the Heisman and an MVP in the NFL. So Cam Newton played football at an extremely high level.
Super high level. Just like I said, look at that 2015 team, what they were able to do. Yes, Peyton Manning was very, very washed up. I mean, washed up is almost an understatement. He was pretty much just out there. But that defense is one of the best defenses I've ever seen play. The no-fly zone Denver Broncos defense. Talking about Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware coming off the edge, Aqib Talib and Chris Harris at the corner spot. That defense was amazing, and it still took a Herculean effort from Von Miller for them to be able to get past that Carolina team and Cam Newton. Cam Newton also has the best rookie season for any quarterback ever. Still right now, no one's got past those stats at what he did as a rookie, man. So Cam Newton, one of those guys, regardless. I know he's got a podcast, and now I got to see him talk, and that kind of removes him from football and has other opinions. But on the football field, you can't deny what he did. At number 1, this one is kind of prognosticating a little bit of almost not only what he's done, but what I think he can do. It's Lamar Action Jackson, man. I got Lamar Jackson sitting at the top of this list. Multiple-time MVP in Lamar Jackson. Has not won the Super Bowl, but he's the first QB to rush for 1,000 yards in multiple seasons. 2-time MVP, 2019, 2023. You can make the argument he should have been the MVP last year. He had his best year as a pro last year, but Josh Allen also had a phenomenal year to go along with it. So I'm not mad at them for giving it to Josh Allen. Hasn't been able to get over that hump yet, but since I've watched him in his first game at Louisville to this point now, one of the most, if not the most electric player I've seen with the ball in their hands of all time, man. Regardless of position, regardless of where he's at on the field, this guy is phenomenal when he touches the ball. You cannot deny the talent of what you see from him on the field. So that was my 5. And I know everyone's going to have a different list than that. I mainly had to go off of the guys that I seen play. I know I left out Donovan McNabb. I know I left out Warren Moon. I know I left out Steve Air McNair. I love all of those guys too, but I only have 5 spots on the list, man. So my five on there was Randall Cunningham, Randall Cunningham. I had Doug Williams. I had Cam Newton at 2, At 3, I had Michael Vick. Number 1, I had Lamar Jackson, man. What you think about the list said, and any names that need to be mentioned that I didn't mention in there?
I'm going to push back a little bit because I think that if you're going to have a top 5 list, if we're talking about greatest black quarterbacks of all time, this is what the list is titled, correct?
Yes.
Okay, you have to have Warren Moon on there.
For sure. It hurt me to leave him off, man.
Have to have somewhere. Okay.
That's who I was debating between him and Randall Cunningham, who I wanted to I just went with the guy who highlights I like better.
If you want to drive Randall Cunningham and pick up Warren Moon, I ain't got a problem with that. Warren Moon was so great. This is what I want people to understand. Warren Moon, coming out of college, NFL said, "Hey, we'll draft you as a wide receiver," and he's like, "No, I'm a quarterback." So nobody drafted him. The whole draft, and he won the Rose Bowl as a senior in Washington. He won the Rose Bowl. Okay, this is back when the Rose Bowl was the winner of the Big Ten and the Pac-12.
Yep.
And he won that game. Literally won it by himself. So he goes undrafted. So he goes to Canada, and he wins
5.
He wins 4.
5 of them.
5 CFL championships.
Yep.
And then now the NFL was like, oh, you know what? Maybe
I guess after 5 we'll give you a chance.
Maybe a Negro can play quarterback. And then he becomes a 9-time Pro Bowler in the NFL.
Yeah.
This is after playing 5 years in the CFL. Warren Moon is one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, all time, period.
Yes.
You got a top 5 list of all time quarterbacks, and you can go all the way back to Sonny Jurgensen or whatever. Warren Moon should be on anybody's top 5 list.
Absolutely.
This is why he's the first black quarterback to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Another black quarterback that I want to make a case for, and I don't know if he necessarily needs to be on the list, but let's not ignore what Dante Culpepper did in Minnesota.
I used to love Dante Culpepper, man.
Playing with Randy Moss and Chris Carter. Let's not ignore what he did. And then the other quarterback that I would want to mention, black quarterback is now I'm going way back. The man's name is James Shaq Harris.
Okay.
He was the first black quarterback to be named a starter to open a season, the first black quarterback to lead a team into the playoffs, and the first black quarterback to win a Pro Bowl MVP. This was 40 years ago. I think it was Tampa. Don't sleep on your Trailblazers.
For sure. He's definitely got to be added just because of that, man. Yeah. And I wanted to give a good shout out for all of these guys, man, to put some history out there on these different quarterbacks. Like you said, Warren Moon's out. The guys that I went back and forth on were Randall Cunningham, Warren Moon, and Steve McNair. Steve McNair was one of my first favorite quarterbacks. Him and Michael Vick, man, I thought they were like phenomenal. Steve McNair's arm, his throwing talent was ridiculous.
And I guess you have to debate Mahomes, don't you?
Yeah. See, I kind of left Mahomes off the list just because people have different opinions on that. But clearly, if he was on, he's number one. He's got an argument for being the number one quarterback ever. So clearly, if this is a black quarterback list, he's right up there too.
He's the only guy who's on a pace to where he could exceed what Brady did.
The only guy for sure.
The only guy
for sure. He's the only guy that even has a chance of being able to do that, man. But I want to give some chance to celebrate these black quarterbacks, man. I left some guys off the list, but you could put any of these guys interchangeable on that list, and it's not going to be a bad list, man. We've got a lot of history, and the game has progressed all the way from the guy that said just named a second ago all the way up to now, seeing Jaden Daniels going and Caleb Williams getting drafted 1 and 2 in the draft at quarterback spot, something we've never seen before. So I definitely
Ward.
Yeah, and then Cam Ward and Shador this year were the two best quarterbacks coming out. Cam Ward was still number one pick coming out this year. So each and every year we're seeing it. We're seeing that change. We're seeing this quarterback position
Michael
unfold.
Penix Jr.
Yeah, Mike Penix down there in Atlanta. Now to where we have the NFC East. If they would have drafted Shador, the Giants, the whole NFC East would have been black quarterbacks in the division. And I know we've never seen anything like that before in the league. So the league is changing. That position is changing, man. And I wanted to highlight some of those greats that came before to let these guys be able to play the way that they play right now, man. So shout out to all of those guys. Anybody we said or didn't say, y'all could jump in the comments and let us know who we needed or who we need to mention going in. Some more breaking news. We got a couple minutes left here on the show. Jair Alexander joins the Baltimore Ravens. We know we heard the news last week the Packers cutting him, and I was interested to see where he was going to go. A lot of people linked him to Buffalo. Some people linked him to Kansas City. Ends up going to Baltimore to now form what I believe already the best secondary in the NFL. I'm talking about Marlon Humphrey, who had an all-pro year last year. Marlon Humphrey played at a great level, didn't get a lot of recognition, but he had one of his best years quietly that he's had as a pro, and he's a perennial Pro Bowl guy. They add Jair Alexander to that role. Nate Wiggins was one of the best rookie corners in the NFL last year. You're going to put him with who I believe the best safety in the NFL right now, and Kyle Hamilton, a guy that I was mad my Texans didn't draft a few years ago. And then they draft one of the best players in the draft at safety and Malachi Starks out of Georgia. You now pair Jair Alexander with that. This has quickly become the best secondary in the league, man. What do you think about Jair heading down to Baltimore?
Yeah, a lot of people, because like I said, I watch a lot of sports talk. Mm-hmm. A lot of people aren't talking about this. This may be the most significant move of the offseason.
Yes.
You add Jair Alexander to a secondary that already includes Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins, Kyle Hamilton, and Malachi Starks. If Malachi Starks is going to be the player that we think that he's going to project to become, wow, this is, you talk about a no-fly zone. This is way better than anything Denver can put on the field, because Denver is widely recognized as having the best secondary in the league right now. Mm-hmm. But you make an addition like this, you can put this. You can play this guy anywhere. He can be your nickel back. He could be, like the corner of a slot, to cover a slot in nickel. He could be your dime back to just cover a zone. If you really wanted him to be, you don't need him to be because of your roster. But if he could just cover a receiver head up. This is a major move, bro. I saw something that said that Alexander has 287 tackles, 12 interceptions, and 70 pass defense since 2018. This is a productive guy.
Yes.
When he's on the field, he's going to give you numbers. He's always done it. I don't know what happened to where the relationship went sour with Green Bay. If I'm one of the Green Bay owners, I'm like, he's the one guy that we need to make sure that we cool.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing. I thought the same thing, but I guess that relationship, we kind of seen it throughout the season. That relationship, it kind of started to sour between him and the head coach, man. So I think they were they both decided, hey, it's time, we're going to go ahead and part ways. But I'm like you, man. I think that this is an underrated move into fact. I know it just happened today, so a lot of people haven't had that many opinions on it. But I think this could end up being this is a season-changing move, in my opinion. Jair Alexander is one of the few corners. There's not many corners in the league that still follow in today's game. By follow, I mean they can play on both sides. They can follow a receiver inside and out, and they can play man the whole game. There's not many corners left like that in the league. Jair's been a guy like that.
the whole thing is it's the versatility of being able to play man and zone.
Absolutely.
With the equal aplomb. Because man and zone are not the same thing. They're not.
No.
They're really not. And if you never played football, then you don't understand how different it is. From playing man to zone. Man is one thing. Zone is a whole nother beast. It really is. And Jair Alexander can do both.
He can do both
at a high level. A high level. So the fact that he can do both at a high level, that means you can literally put him anywhere in your secondary. Anywhere.
I think this is a move that is, like you said, this is going to end up being one of the bigger moves of the offseason, man. If these guys stay healthy on this Ravens team, I mean, I know we said it last year, they had a great team. I think they have an even better team coming into this year, man, to see the additions not only with Jair, but just the additions that they've been able to make throughout this season, man, throughout this offseason. I really, really love this move from Baltimore, them being able to come back out and sign these guys. This move for them is huge. I want to get one more thing in, and it's in their division, the team that I want to talk about. What in the world are the Cincinnati Bengals doing, Sid? Maybe you can answer this. I don't know what's going on with the Cincinnati Bengals. This is one of the more confusing franchises. Now we start to see there's only one rookie right now that hasn't signed a contract in the NFL, and it's Shamar Stewart, who got drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals, put some language in his contract that changed up his guarantees. No other rookie in NFL history has had this contract. No other rookie on the team or player on the Bengals has this contract. What's going on with this?
So I'm probably going to surprise you, and I'm going to err on the side of the Bengals in this particular dispute, because here's what I'm saying. Okay, number one, let's say I go ahead and re-sign Trey Hendrickson. Well, that's still being a defense intact that sucks.
Yes.
Because they suck. They gave up the most 30-point games out of any franchise last year over the season. Most 30-point games 5 or 6 times. So even if I bring back my core, my defense, we still suck. So now I had this rookie, and he's a project. Okay, Shamar Stewart. Let's just understand this. There's nothing on paper that says Shamar Stewart is a monster. Nothing on paper.
Yeah.
1.5 sacks last year, I think, at A&M. Okay. Nothing on paper that says Shamar Stewart is a monster. So why am I gonna just go out of my way to sign this guy? You want a trip? All right, forget it. We can just move you. Because you can't do anything. We have the control, so you can't do anything. But if you want to just move you, we'll just move you.
Yeah, Shamar Stewart, to your point, was a shorts All-American. Nothing on the field is why he got drafted in the first round. Just being honest, it's the upside, it's the projection. But with all of that being true, you still drafted him. If you knew that before you drafted him, don't change up the lingo in my opinion, don't change up the lingo of the contract now. To now you're going to give me a different contract than anybody else has ever signed. Why would I sign it? To now he'll have to sit out a complete year in order, if he doesn't want to sign this contract, and he can get redrafted in 2026, which would be the most Bengals thing of all time if that did happen. But
my whole thing, and listen, I generally side with players whenever there's like a dispute between a player and a team. But in this case, I'm on the team side. Listen, bro, you just trying to get in where you fit in. If this is what we pitching you, you just sign this and bring your butt on. But if you think that you better than this, then okay, we ain't got nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
If you think you're better than what we're not offering you anything that nobody else is not being offered. It's a standard rookie deal. The language is standard rookie language. It is. If you get hurt in training camp or whatever, then you forfeit your signing bonus money. Every rookie signs that same contract. It's not anything new. It's not anything new.
Yeah, they changed they changed up some of his lingo on his guarantees. That is different than all their other rookies. It's a small thing, and that's kind of why Shamar Stewart said it seems like they want to win an argument more than they want to win games. At the end of the day, do I think Shamar Stewart is a game-changing player? No. And do I think that the Ravens' defense is going to be good whether they have Shamar Stewart and Trey Hendrickson? No. So at the end of the day, it's kind of really not going to matter that much.
Yeah. No. And listen, just for the reason that you stated, it's really insignificant. It really is. Mm-hmm. But the fact that your defense is terrible, you would think that you would want to just bring in every asset that you have, at your fingertips to bring into the defense. Sign Stewart, sign Henderson. Because your defense is terrible. It is. It's terrible.
It's one of the worst in the league, if not the worst.
One of the worst in the league. Probably 29, 28. It's terrible like that.
Yeah.
It's that bad. It's that bad. So you retaining your core. What I mean by retaining your core, by signing re-signing Hendrickson, you're not really improving. It's just going to be more of the same. You're just going to have to just try to outscore people. We know we're giving up 30 a game, so we just need to try to score 35, and they can do that. They can't do that every week, but they can do that. They can do that 10 times out of 17 weeks. They can do that. Joe Burrow just got to go crazy, and we just gonna just throw the ball around. They can do that. That's not a recipe for success.
Not at all. That's the main problem.
Having to score 35 points a week every week, that's not a recipe for success.
No, 'cause it's just not even realistic.
So I understand them not wanting to necessarily retain the core of the defense, because even if we do that, defense still sucks. Still sucks.
Defense is trash regardless. So whether they sign Hendrickson, whether they sign Shamar Stewart.
And the problem is not Hendrickson. The problem is your secondary. It's trash.
Yeah, that was their biggest. They can't stop the run, and they can't cover anybody down the field. That's their biggest problem. And I expected them to get more help in that area, and they're going to be even worse defending the run because they just released a week ago their leading tackler for the last 4 years, and Jermaine Pratt. So it's only going to get worse from here if you're the Bengals fan as far as defending the run. They got a lot of tough decisions to make in this offseason, folks, but we'll keep our eyes on what the Bengals are doing. Folks, we're out of time here today on Centex Primetime. We want to thank everybody for tuning in with us here today. Tomorrow we won't be on the show. It is Juneteenth. All y'all will be off work. Do some research on what Juneteenth is about. It's not just about having a barbecue. Happy Juneteenth to everybody out there. I want to see y'all in the sandals with no socks on the barbecue pit and a Kango hat because it's Juneteenth, so we need to celebrate the right way. Shout out to everybody that watched with us. As always, subscribe to the YouTube, Centex Sports Network / Centex Sports TV. Also, you can subscribe to the website, CentexSportsNetwork.com. Want to thank Seth for jumping on here with us today. We will see you guys next time here on Centex Primetime. Everybody have a great evening and happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth.